depending on the hotel, some hotels do a lot of weekend business, and some hotels do a lot of weekday business.
So let's talk about that. What would be the difference, like using, let's give them a real example. So it is it's Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
It's more of a corporate city than a leisure city.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are going to be much busier during the week than they are on the weekend. Chances are it's a graveyard on
With
the weekend.
one exception, and that exception is football season,
Ah,
when the Colts
we just
have a
ran into
home
this.
game. Exactly.
You do want to factor in big things like sporting events. I forgot to mention that. Another thing that's kind of like a big thing is what we call citywides, right? Like
Yes.
there might be
like
your
massive
preferred city.
conferences. Just if you're not sure what a citywide could potentially be, Comic-Con in San Diego.
Nightmare, don't want to be over Comic-Con.
Exactly.
Sure.
Or CES in Las Vegas. Like those are
Don't wanna be over
massive
that.
conferences.
A city that's largely corporate, and these tend to be your city centers in New York City, Washington, D.C., you know, whether they're first tier, like those two examples, or second tier, like Indianapolis, Minneapolis, St. Louis, you know, they're going to be much busier during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, than they're going to be on the weekends. So if you're willing to do a weekend, much better deal. But if you go to a leisure venue, a place that people love to be on the weekend, I'm going to go relax, I'm going to spend the whole weekend, I'm sitting by the pool, it's going to be much more expensive on the weekend than it is on weekdays. So you can really use those patterns to your advantage in considering your venue and your hotel selection.
Who's your audience? Right? Because yes, you have to think about the venue and you have to think about rates and so on and so forth. But what's even more important than that in the long or even in the short term, just in general, is who is coming to the live event. Let's say you're going to host a 3-day. And let's say you have the same issue that Des has, which is you think that for your audience, they will appreciate being away from home on the weekend more than being away from home during the week because of who they are, what their business is, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Then for that person, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a Friday, Saturday, Sunday is an event that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, you should really try and stick to that pattern because you know we have clients who are adamant about their event being over a weekend for that very reason. They have an audience that has jobs and they're maybe starting their second career or they're just dipping a toe into the entrepreneurial community. So less time off of work is better for them. But I still have to say, even with that, don't sacrifice having a 3-day event to have a 2-day just to save them that one day, because what you're sacrificing is actually layers of content, commitment, community development that are all going to tie into them wanting to say yes to your high ticket offer. You can make a compelling argument for them to be with you all 3 days.
Let's say your market is primarily mothers, as an example, or fathers, or people who have a family, but they are just getting into business. Let's say your avatar is actually just starting their business and they're no longer in their job. Well, for that person who possibly wants to be home on the weekend, a midweek event like a Thursday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday event, or a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday may make more sense.
Because the kids are in school most of that week, and so it's much easier for them to be away during the week than it is for them to be gone on a weekend. So I think the bottom line with this is knowing your audience is really critical.
It is.
And catering to it. If you're not sure, do a little bit of surveying to find out, or trust a couple, ask your list or ask a couple of well-respected resources, clients that you really know, like, and trust. What would you prefer? And get a feel for that.
Well, and know that sometimes you don't always get the right answer from your audience, right? So sometimes it's knowing who the audience is, not necessarily knowing what they want, right? So for Des, for you,
They would not ask,
when you
would
mentioned,
you prefer to have a 2 or 3 day? Would not ask that. You know it's better for them to have a 3 day, so you need to ask. You're going to do that anyway.
Exactly.